Hi everybody, this is XLT Podcast. I'm here with the infamous J.K. Hobson.
Am I infamous?
I don't know, is that good or is that bad?
I mean, it sounds badass. It's kind of like Notorious B.I.G. I don't know if I deserve it. I don't know if I'm infamous. Infamous means like famous for something bad, for something badass.
Is that what it means?
It's got famous in there, and I don't even know if I'm even famous. I might just be in.
All right, the badass.
Oh, thanks, man.
Is that better?
It's all right. That's cool. I like it.
The J.K. Hobson, yeah. So he is a comedian, so many things. He lives here in Saigon. He does the open mic where I met him at Indica on Mondays. And yeah, he gave me a great feeling my first day. So I was like, yeah, I like this guy. And he agreed to do the show with us, and we're gonna learn about his interesting life. And so JK, welcome. Huh?
Thanks, yo. Thanks for asking me to come on.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So JK, where are you from? American? No.
Yeah, I'm American. Yeah, I was born in Puerto Rico, which is its own country. It's a country, not an independent country, but it's a U.S. territory.
Right.
So, I was born with a U.S. green card, but I was born in the country of Puerto Rico, and I lived there for almost 2 years before I moved to New York City, where my dad is from. My dad is of Jamaican descent, but he was born in Brooklyn, and that's where we moved when I was almost 2, and I lived there for a few years, and then for the next 24 years, 25 years, bounced around New York City with my family on my own. I lived in Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, mostly Brooklyn, and then eventually moved to LA when I got in the music business.
Right. Oh, so yeah. That's right. You're in a band, right?
Yeah, I was in a band. Yeah. Music business is strong, actually. That like implies like making a lot of money and stuff. So it's like when I got in the music industry, when I moved from my apartment to a van with 6 other people, it was very lush, the high life,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Music industry.
Yeah.
So what do? You play guitar, sing?
Yeah. My first instrument was guitar. I started teaching myself to play guitar when I was like 15. My mother bought me a guitar for Christmas the year I was 15. Hi, Mom. I started just like learning people's riffs and stuff like that. And then a few years after that, like right after, I joined a band in high school, and then when I got into college, I started singing and playing guitar for this local band. Eventually would play bass for some bands, play drums in some bands. But the band that was most famous, I played guitar in that band.
Nice.
Yeah, that was the one that got into the music industry, whatever,
Right.
So that band I played guitar, and they're called Crisis.
Crisis, nice.
Yeah.
What kind of music is that?
It's like, I saw a description. Actually, somebody sent me a video of like that I hadn't seen yet of the band, and somebody called it progressive hardcore, which and I guess it kind of was, because it's like metal-ish, like sludgy, kind of like down-tuned, like slow groovy metal, but also we used to mess around with different time signature, and we're also very influenced by the New York hardcore scene, like which tends to be like kind of like more how do I say, like aggressive, like hardcore music is just like music for people to kind of like just get in the pit and just get down, you know what I mean? So we're definitely influenced by that kind of music, but we were kind of accepted by that scene. Like we would play with hardcore bands, but we weren't necessarily your typical hardcore band, you know what I mean? Because we did have progressive elements. We also had a female singer, which at the time when Crisis started, which the band started in '93, I joined in '98. That wasn't really a feature in heavy bands, Yeah. Like later on, there would be a bunch of different bands like Kitty and OTEP and Arch Enemy that would have female singers. I mean, there's like a million that I could name. but Crisis was one of the first in that. It's sort of in that genre of hard music. So yeah, but progressive hardcore, sludge metal. I mean, it depends on who you ask. You know, I saw this. It's funny. I saw this review of. I never used to read reviews. I never used to read the comments when I was in the band because it's just like, just never, never go in the comment section. It's gonna be just something horrible. It's gonna hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but I went recently, and somebody was like talking about the influences, the band's influences, or they're obviously influenced by this band and this band and this band and this band and it was like we didn't listen to any of those bands. In fact, those bands were our contemporaries. Like we were making music at the same time, and that's not how music works. That's why you can't jump on a bandwagon, because by the time you jump on a bandwagon, that shit is gone. You know what I'm saying? You hear something on the radio and you're like, oh, I want to make some music like that. It's like, well, by the time you get it produced, I mean, I'm not somebody who made a lot of money in the music industry, so maybe I'm not the one to give advice about this kind of thing, but I think if you want to make something of artistic merit, you got to kind of just do your own thing, Yeah. But what the fuck do I know? I'm a comedian now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna do the same as anything. You don't want to copy anybody, but influence are big. Like
sure.
Who was kind of like, you're playing guitar at 15, who was like your influence? Who was you like looking up to, or like watching their videos, whatever? Who was who was your...
Well, let's see. At 15, it was 98 and 88. Right? 88. Yeah. 88. Oh my God, I'm old. Holy shit, I'm so old. I can't even do math anymore. I was 15 and Metallica. Nice. Master of Puppets was. Master of Puppets. Yeah. That was actually, no, at 15 it was 87. So I think when I got into Metallica, Cliff Burton had just died. Okay. He was the bass player. Okay. And he was the one that like totally changed their music, Yep. So it was like Metallica was just starting to not hit the mainstream because they still weren't on the radio, they still weren't making videos. Wow. But their music, they were just so good that they couldn't be, they were touring. The record was just, I mean, they had so much street cred. I think they pretty much had, like, for a rock band, like the most amount of street cred that any band could have without being on the radio, again, without being on MTV, Now they're kind of a different band. But at that time, Metallica was who I was really into. But the funny thing is, because I think I got into hardcore, like soon after that, I never got into like shredding. Like playing really fast, like I was never into that. I was just always into writing riffs, So Sabbath was really great for that because Black Sabbath had really amazing, and although Tony Iommi, the guitar player, did play leads, he wasn't like a speed demon. It was all like groovy, tasteful stuff, So that's kind of more what I was into. And then later on, with music, music is like, it's like a drug, it's like once you try something, like especially like heavy music, you just want to get deeper and deeper and deeper. So I just got into heavier stuff. And eventually I was into like stuff like Godflesh was one of my favorite bands. It was like an industrial metal band, like Ministry, which is like kind of more on the popular end. And later on it was bands like Dead Guy and Kiss It Goodbye, a lot of crazy hardcore bands. And then I got, I was still into hip hop. And I got into like ambient music and I mean, as a musician, jazz, I always like to keep my taste diverse and draw my influences from as many places as possible, and then that way, if like we were talking about with influence, if you're just listening to the thing that's popular right now, it's like, oh, that just sounds like so and so, but if you're listening to like Mahavishnu Orchestra and like John Coltrane and Godflesh and Black Sabbath and and the Rollins Band and Run DMC and Wu-Tang, he's like, yo, bam, let's put that together. What does it sound like? Wow, that sounds original. It's not. Nice. Because it's coming from somewhere, but it's just an amalgamation of all the things that you love,
Do you still have like your old music, like on tape or?
You mean like my bands and stuff?
I mean, do you still have like like your old music that you made? Like
Yeah, we're on Spotify.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's why I say we made it. We were in the industry. Like,
Yeah,
we made.
yeah.
Yeah, Crisis had 4 albums. We made
Crisis,
4 albums before. They made 3 albums before I joined.
Yeah.
And then we did like a ton of demos. Some of them are on like YouTube and stuff like that. You know, I have the recordings. And then we got signed again in 2003, like after I was in the band for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And then we came out with another record in 2004. So yeah, it's on Spotify. We're on YouTube and Crisis. Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah. Cheers.
It's eclectic. It's got it's like sludge. I don't know if I know what sludge is.
It's just like grimy, like not like low tuned.
Yeah.
Right? So instead of like a normal guitar is tuned to E, like you tune like that, and then it sounds just heavier, you know? And then just like a lot of it is slow and plodding but heavy. You know, we're kind of influenced by, some people would call like stoner rock, which is stuff like that later became like Queens of the Stone Age, were like one of the bands that were considered stoner rock that like kind of made it, were very popular later, but like people would say the first stoner rock band was like Black Sabbath. So just like slower, blues influenced, but also really evil sounding, you know, like using flat fifths, like, you know, just evil sounding music. Yeah.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, we in San Francisco we have Metallica. I used to live. Metallica would hang out at the Hells Angels clubhouse, and we would, like, one of their albums was like half a block from my album cover. He's like behind him is like this like old abandoned building. I was like half a block from my old house. So I don't think we ever saw them, but I've seen them around San Francisco. Like,
okay. Yeah. That's. I mean, the San Francisco for like that era of metal.
Yep.
Because you had like Metallica, you had like Exodus, because there was the big 4. There was Metallica, Anthrax, Megadeth, and Slayer. They were like the big 4, right? But Metallica was from the Bay Area, and there was like a lot of good bands from the Bay Area. There was like Death Angel, who was actually Kirk Hammett's cousins, like he's like part Filipino, like a Filipino thrash band that was awesome. Their third album is amazing. Their first album's good too. Second album's good too. Exodus, which if there was a big 5, Exodus would have been the 5th. You know, shout out to Gary Holt. He's in Slayer now. He's the guitar player from Exodus. We toured with Exodus actually in 2005.
Damn.
But yeah, there's so many. Forbidden, who was like a little bit later. Violence, like damn, there was like a whole like a Bay Area scene of really like great thrash, like in the late '80s, actually early and late '80s, you know. So yeah, it's known for that. Yeah.
That's cool, man. So, you still in a band or what?
Nah, I haven't played music in a band. I think about it sometimes. But I'm like pretty busy.
Yeah.
You know, but I think about it sometimes. I was thinking about doing I have an idea for a band. I have a concept for a really fun band that maybe I'll do this year. But I'm just focusing on work stuff and doing comedy right now.
Nice.
You know, which is how we met, obviously.
Yeah, I love it. Well, you pumped me up, bro. I mean, you kind of got me in the beginning. I wasn't ready.
I got you.
You're like, this guy, his name is synonymous with the Omen Devil. I'm like,
well, that's
no one knows what you're talking about. Everyone's like, what the hell is he
that's
talking
right,
about?
yeah, because we're old.
See, when I get better, I could use that, and I could jump on stage and tell like a story of my life.
Sure.
Like when I was a kid.
Oh wow.
My mom would push me around in the stroller. She's like, "Oh, your baby's so cute. What's his name? Damien." Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's messed up.
Yeah.
Man. Wow. Oh wow. That's painful, man. That's the
born in
the jokes you're
79.
born from.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like right after.
I didn't think I should have told her.
You were born in '79.
Yeah.
That's your parents fucked up.
Yeah.
They knew, and they named you Damien anyway.
I gotta check when that movie came out.
But now, it actually came out in the '70s. It came out for sure in the '70s.
It came out in '79. I was born in October of '79. I think it was like.
Oh, that's when the original Omen came out?
Yeah.
Really? I thought it came out before that.
I'm pretty sure.
Because there were 3 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the third one, it was called The Final Conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And it was with Sam, what's his face, from in the Mouth of Madness and Event Horizon. I forget his name. And he played Damien as an adult, as the president. But I think that was like 80 or something like that.
It never stops too. Like my whole life has been, bro. I used to drive cab, right? I was driving cab, and apparently, fittingly, they gave me cab number 666.
Get the hell out of here!
Shit you not, bro.
Wow.
And I would just,
and you know they did that show. You know, it'd be real funny. Let's give this one.
Bro, they gave me cab. It was a Chrysler 300. It was like one of the nicest cabs, but no one wanted to drive it.
But at least it wasn't an anti-Chrysler.
When I was driving it, that was.
There you go.
Bro, the cab driver used to bless it. He would go to the church, and he was like an Irish Catholic dude. He's like, fuck, how the fuck I get, because you get your cab assigned to you for life. That's like, you're like, how the fuck they're going to give me cab 666? So I'm driving it, right? He gets it blessed, like at the church and everything. And I have to call in. This is before phones and internet and all that stuff. You call in, and I'd have to say, Damien 666, and the dispatcher would just be like, I can't listen to Damien 666 anymore on the radio.
Wait, but why did they have to? There's no way they could have just not called it 666. Like, what if you just said 667?
When you're like you cab drive for 20 years and you get the medallion.
And that shit that's money.
Yeah. So the guy. They just give you a random number, stamped it, and his Irish Catholic dude. So he's like, he has to either drive that cab for the rest of his life or rent it out to other people. Yeah. He's like, it's just fitting for my life as a cab driver.
So this is so you're Damien, and then your medallion number was 666. So this is basically why you have to get the fuck out of my house right now. It's been nice talking to you. Because if something bad happens, that's like
I never leave.
You know what I'm saying?
I might leave, but I never go away.
It's like if this is a horror movie, people are watching it, especially black people. It's like, yo, what are you doing? What you doing, man? You let this guy in your house. His name's Damien, but you're bald headed, so I know the 6s aren't on your forehead.
Right.
So
I that's think it was back here, right?
Oh yeah.
Forehead, I think it was
no. What? Oh yeah, it was. It was. I thought it was like. It was. Yeah, it was like. Okay. Yeah, because I remember they're looking through his. They're looking, and then he sees it. It was a cute little tattoo. I mean, and there's a lot of weird shit happened around that movie too. Like people died making that movie.
Oh, that was real. Yeah.
That just like fed the. Because it was like that time in Hollywood horror movies where they started making movies based on real. Like kind of religious prophecies.
Exorcist.
The Exorcist or like Amityville Horror. Like they were they were using religion, using people's like, because people were like kind of on the fence. It was like after the 60s, it's like the 70s. I think people were kind of on the fence about religion at that point. And then they were like, oh yeah, let's see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the cult was big. It was like all those,
with the
like,
Jamestown,
books,
you mean?
All those books came out. There's a lot, bro. I used to live down the street. Nah, maybe I should stop.
Uh-oh, we're getting deep.
Anton LaVey.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I used to live down the street from his house.
Oh yeah? Okay. This is so once again, like if I die tonight, this is like this motherfucker lived down the street from the king of the satanic. Wow. Well, this is nice. No, this is
tried to leave that back home. Okay, JK found me and called me out on it.
Damien. It's all for you, Damien! Brutal.
That's my favorite scene.
That's brutal, man.
Put the dog down.
Oh, wow. And then, what's the guy's name again? Sam? I guess it doesn't matter. But he became the president.
Right.
And then Jesus came. Then they had a happy ending because Jesus came back at the end. Jesus was like, all right, everybody, enough with these shenanigans. I'm back.
God, Jesus came back.
All late. Jesus Christ, man. I was kind of thinking about that. Like, sometimes, like, why is it that nobody says, like, Allah or, or Buddha or, like, it's always Jesus Christ. You know? It's because his name is Jesus Christ. It's just, Jesus Christ is perfect,
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it does, man.
Jesus.
Well, I think Shakyamuni is, like, kind of like, if you're like, Shakyamuni, goddamn. Shakyamuni, it's the Buddha's birth name. Right, Siddhartha Gautama, but he was born Shakyamuni.
Okay.
Right. I guess that kind of has that sort of ring too.
I wanted to ask you about that. So you are practicing Buddhism.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know? Oh, you know about the Bodhi tree? You know what that?
Yes. Well, it's the tree where they say that some Buddhist beliefs are that the Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree and attained enlightenment.
Right.
I practice. The root of my practice is the Lotus Sutra, and in the Lotus Sutra, which is one of his final teachings, he explains that he actually gained enlightenment like eons ago.
Wow.
And then he rediscovered it under the Bodhi tree at that time.
Okay.
Basically saying that our essential nature, part of our essential nature is that of a Buddha, like all of us, all things, right? But we also have this thing that's known as fundamental darkness, which tells us, no, you're not. He had it too, and that's what he struggled with under the Bodhi tree, which is basically he's meditating and moving back towards enlightenment. But then there were these, they say demons, like Mara is like this demon in the Buddhist cosmology that was like, nah, you're not doing this. And even like tried to tempted him with first it was like threatening him, like, yo, we're gonna send all these armies out, like these armies of demons are gonna come after you if you try to attain enlightenment. And basically Mara was not only afraid that the Buddha would attain enlightenment, because people had attained enlightenment before Shakyamuni Buddha, but it was Shakyamuni's intention to set other people free, and that's what Mara didn't want.
Right.
So Mara sent supposedly these demon soldiers, and then the Buddha was like, "No, I'm not really worried about that." And then sent, I'm not sure if it was in this order. Then sent like a bunch of like kind of demon, like beautiful women. Like, if you don't do this, you can have all these women for the rest of eternity. I think it was the other way around, actually. He sent the women first, and then he sent these armies. And then there's a famous position that the Buddha sits in. I think they call them madrasas. And it's like, you can see different positions when you see statues of the Buddha. But the one when he's like has his hand down, they say it's a moment when he was meditating and Mara sent these demons, and he kind of touched the ground to get sort of energy from the earth, like to ground himself. And then he got, kind of re-energized and was like, no, I'm going to continue on this path. And then, as they say, attain enlightenment under the Bodhi tree.
Right. Because I was going to say, that is my middle name. So
Bodhi?
Does that make up?
Oh, wow.
Does that make up for?
Nah, the sixes,
Come
I'm
on,
sorry,
bruh.
dude. The sixes is like, wow, that shit.
Like,
The sixes are
not enough.
I'm sorry, man. Okay, man, you're all right, man.
Thank
You can stay.
See? I'm not all bad.
All right. I mean, no, but that's the whole thing.
Have you been there?
To where?
To Bodhi tree?
No, I haven't been to India at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard it's in, because I want to go there. The original is in northern India, and then like what Indian princess or queen like burned it down or like chopped it up, and a branch was sent to Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So there's like an offshoot in Sri Lanka, and the original, I guess it wasn't fully destroyed and it came back. That's northern. Because that's my middle name. I want to go see that.
Sure. Yeah, you should. Actually, it's hard to tell. There's so many stories in Buddhism. Yeah. And some of them are to be taken literally, like Mara, the demons. Some people would say that was a part of the Buddha's mind. Okay. It wasn't really like demons, but it was like these things exist in our consciousness, and they can seem to take form.
Yeah.
But also, they say that a lot of stupas, like a lot of Buddhist pagodas, have like pieces of the Buddha's body in them. They'll have like his fingertip or his bones, his heart, whatever, But they just kept making them.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know if it's possible. Like all like how much body is it? A lot of body, Buddha, But also they have in Hue, in central Vietnam, there is a pagoda. I want to say it's Tien Mu or I don't remember the name of it, but they have one of those trees there, and they say that someone went to the Bodhi tree and got an offshoot from and planted it there.
Really?
So yeah,
I'm gonna see that too.
Yeah. Why not?
I'm gonna do a little Bodhi tree tour.
Yeah.
Hue, Sri Lanka, Northern India. Okay.
Yeah, Sri Lanka has a powerful history with Buddhist practice. One thing about Sri Lanka is that they were known, Sri Lankan Buddhists were known to be like really good at debate. So they would debate not only because Buddhists will debate all the time. You know what I mean? Like even if you just meet another Buddhist, you'd be like, just hey, oh yeah, and then like check. It's always like this checking of each other's levels, But they would debate like Christian missionaries. There's like famous. I wish I could remember this guy's name. There's a famous story where this Sri Lankan Buddhist monk was debating with I want to say maybe he was like a Jesuit or it was like basically a missionary. And the missionaries are basically going into Asia to be like, okay, listen, you people got it all wrong, and we're gonna explain. So they were doing like soft power at first, and so I forget the guy's name. They were like in an amphitheater. And they were having a debate, and I've even read like portions of the debate, and it's at one point he's got him, and people start chanting his name. Which is you think of that as like a sporting event, you know what I'm saying, where you just be like, like Hulk Hogan or some shit, you know what I mean? But it was like, I mean, can you imagine? Right, like no microphones, an amphitheater, but he just shut him down to the point where people were like, oh, he got him, So that's the kind of that's what I understand about, at least back then. That was like, I want to say the 1500s that happened, 15 or 1800s, which I know it's a long gap. But yeah, that's an interesting feature of Sri Lankan Buddhism, at least back then. So yeah, that would be dope if you could check that out.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because I've read a few books. The last book I got, it was the art of breathe. It was like a breathing meditation book. I forgot the author, like a Buddhist, but it was really good. It was just like, so he was giving a speech and someone like dictated the speech. He's like, I'm speaking in English because I want to, I think it was Thai. Well, I bought it in Thailand. I actually don't know. Okay. But he was like telling all these breathing techniques, and he was just starting off like his speech, like I'm speaking in English, so the words, I can reach more people with these words. And he's like, my English is very bad, so I'm just gonna just lay it out there. And his speech is awesome. And then he goes into these like breathing meditation techniques, and it's just like layers, and it just like peels away all this, like you just let go of everything. And that's what when I came here, I would just go to bookstores and buy books like that. And
when you came to Vietnam?
Well, I came to Vietnam. Well, I traveled wherever I went.
Okay.
I would go to a bookstore and like just a small bookstore or whatever, and just find like whatever, something about life or some like a Buddhist book, and read it, and then go to wherever I was going. And yeah, man, I like Buddhism. It's not like forcing you to go to church, or like you don't have to like. It's different. It's different. It's a religion, huh? Or is it a practice?
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, right. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It depends on how you take it. You know what I mean? Like for me, it definitely has elements of both. Yep. Because it's something I practice. I chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo in the mornings and evenings, and I study not only from the Lotus Sutra, but from my mentor, Daisaku Ikeda. Daisaku Ikeda is an incredible man. He's never graduated university, but he has over 250 honorary doctorates from universities around the world
Right.
because of his efforts for world peace. Every year he writes a peace proposal to the UN. Like he's actually like very involved in how do we in this life, in this secular life, how do we create peace in the world? You know, and that begins, or it's not limited to the elimination of nuclear weapons, right? And so for me, reading his writings, reading from the Lotus Sutra, and again, chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and also reciting parts of the Lotus Sutra in the morning and evening, that's a practice, right? And that's something that really enriches my life. Right. At the same time, there are things that I believe, there are things that I have faith in that I couldn't prove to you. They've been proven to me over and over and over again. Yeah. But for you to have proof, or to you to have that kind of faith, you would have to practice, right? Yeah. So I do have that faith. People would say faith in the unseen, which I've had since I started doing psychedelic drugs. Yeah. You know? So that like kind of opened the door. Like there's something in the fabric of reality that it exists and it's binding everything. I can't explain it, but I know that it's real. And I first discovered this with my one of my first bands. Shout out to Dave and Alex, because we would jam and I would record the jams and then listen to them later on. And we would just be improvising and we would change all together into like a new part. And I'd just be like, and I'd listen, and I didn't really kind of notice at the time, but when you're in it, you're just letting it come through you. You know, we're all just like being guided by this unseen force, you know, but not really thinking about it that way, just doing it. Because also when you're young, you can just like go with shit, you know, because you're not thinking about it, right? Yeah. And then later on, I would listen and I'd be like, yo, how did that happen? And it got me, and then I started like observing nature and just really paying attention and just feeling like, wow, there's something else going on here. And I couldn't find an explanation for it. I went kind of crazy for a while and then, you know, then years later, I got it together, but then years later, when I started practicing Buddhism, I was like, okay, this is what, you know, that thing that binds everything is the law of cause and effect, which is, Nichiren Buddhists have named Myoho Renge Kyo.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nam means devotion. Right. Myoho means mystic law. So it's a law that we know it exists, but we don't quite understand how it works. That's why it's mystic, right? Renge literally translates as lotus flower, right? A lotus flower blooms and seeds at the same time. It's very unique in this way. So it's symbolic of the simultaneity of cause and effect. If the seed is the cause and the blooming is the effect, and they happen at the same time, it's like cause and effect happen at the same time. And kyo means sound or teaching. So when you say Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, you're saying I give devotion to the mystic law of cause and effect through sound. And for some mystic reason, it is a cause for your happiness. It's been a cause for my happiness and strength, and I would not be here where I am right now if it wasn't for this practice. So again, it's a practice.
Right. Damn, it's really powerful, bro. Chanting and just like putting stuff out into the universe, like through your voice. I mean, that's the vibration. It probably goes at a certain frequency too, I bet. It's like
yeah, people say that. I've heard it said that Myoho Renge Kyo, or Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, is the vibration of the universe. Yeah. The Lotus Sutra talks about things that when the Buddha talks about, like when he attained enlightenment, the way they describe it, it's like so long ago. It's before humanity existed. They have this term called dust kalpas. And a dust kalpa is like, let's say you turned every single atom and molecule on the earth, you just separated them into like, you separate all the matter into pieces of dust. And then you dropped one piece of dust here, and then you traveled a really long way, and then you dropped another piece of dust, and you traveled, and you kept doing that, right? Until all the dust, that's the kalpa, right? So it's like an insanely, sounds like a long distance, a long amount of time. And he's saying that he attained enlightenment like so many kalpas ago, which if you take it literally, it's like, But if you don't take it literally, which the Buddha says in the Lotus Sutra, don't take this literally. He says it, right?
Yeah.
But if you take it even figuratively, maybe what he's talking about is that cause and effect has existed way before humanity. The laws of cause and effect. I mean, that could be the Big Bang.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like the original cause. I think that theory is still people still believe that now. Although I've heard some other theories more recently. But if you think about that long ago, the original cause, right? Then it kind of makes a little bit more sense, you know. So if you're chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, you're talking, you're giving reverence to something that existed before a lot of things. I don't want to get too controversial, but you know, before a lot of things and people that a lot of people give reverence to and even kill people for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's cool. It's cool to feel like there is something, bro. There's gotta be something. There's gotta be something in between, you know, in between the lines or in between the levels that there has to be. That's how I feel. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but it's you. You know, there's something. The something is not just, you know, Nichiren Daishonin says so we have this thing called a Gohonsan, which I chant to. It's an object of devotion, but it also serves as a mirror for our own enlightenment. So when we chant to it, it's like I don't feel enlightened. Like I don't really feel enlightened. But when I chant to the Gohonsan, it's like I'm polishing the mirror and then I'm like sort of seeing it. So the more you do it, the more you feel your own Buddha nature come out, right? And he says, I'm going to paraphrase, I don't remember the exact phrase, but if you are practicing as if this Gohonsan, like this enlightenment, is outside of yourself, like if Buddhahood is something like, oh, it's like in the sky, or it's this person, if you're practicing as if it's outside of yourself, you are practicing, that is an inferior practice. Because all of it, it's not like, there's got to be something out there. No, there's something is you. It's a part of your inherent nature, is that of a Buddha. Right. And that's what Jesus wanted too. Jesus was not just saying like, I mean, I think people take Jesus the wrong way because the way he gets pitched is like the Son of God, so he's special. But Jesus was trying to say like, all these things I'm doing, you can do. Yeah. You know, there is a theory that Jesus, you know, in that time that he kind of disappeared for a few years, that he studied with Buddhists.
I heard that theory.
Right.
I like that theory.
Yeah, and then his dumb ass tried to explain it to monotheistic. He was like, oh man, let me try that. All right, so I'm the Son of God, and they were like,
hit the cross.
Yeah. He's like, all right, look. Damn it. But the point is that it is something, you know, it's something that it's in our essential nature. Right. How do we get to that? You know? Right. Yeah,
that's cool, man. Yeah, I should read more books about it. But I did do the meditation, but I haven't done it in so long. Oh, not really. It was very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because you just like peel everything away and you focus on this one little thing, and then it's like you are just forget, like, oh man, it was just steps and levels, like want not, don't. I gotta read it again. I still got it.
Yeah, man. I'm
with it, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm not on the level that. But my neighbors used to chant Nam Myoho Renge.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of San Francisco.
Yeah.
That's big. Yeah, it's big.
Oakland, Berkeley area.
Yeah. That's I started in LA. So
there's tons, bro.
Yeah,
there's actual temples everywhere in Berkeley.
The practice, the group that I practice with, the organization, is called the SGI. And so we're not affiliated with any temples. Okay. There used to be a priesthood. Okay. And basically the priesthood were like, okay, so here's how it is. Yep. Here are the priests. Yep. And here are our families. And here are our dogs and cats and fish. And here are the normal people. It was like a hierarchy. Yep. And eventually it just didn't work. It was like, how is this, this Buddhism is talking about, that this Buddha nature is inherent equally in all people. How do you have a hierarchy? It didn't work. So we ended up getting like actually cast out. They basically kicked all the lay people out of the organization. They were like, if you don't want to obey this hierarchy, then you can get the fuck out. And we were like, okay, peace, because you don't need anybody else. It's your own determination. And like you get support from other lay members, but basically all the other members is like, hey, I'm just another human being. I'm not any more. Now there's things that I've been through maybe, and there's things that I understand. Yeah. Like basically because of my experiences, and I can share that with you, but that doesn't make my potential for enlightenment any greater than yours. And I fuck with that. You know what I'm saying? So
that's cool. Yeah, like everybody's on the same level. So are you vegan?
Nah. I eat everything.
Yeah.
Well, food at least,
Yeah, food. Hopefully.
Yeah. I'm not a vegan. Some Buddhists are.
Yeah.
No. I mean, you just see me eat a pepperoni pizza.
Yeah.
And that's my karma. It's not in the practice that I practice. It's not necessary to be a vegan or a vegetarian. Now, will I have to face karma because I eat animals? Possibly, probably. I don't know. Yeah. But I eat meat.
Okay. Nice. So there's a lot of other things here. So you're from New York. You moved to Saigon, but your dad was in the Vietnam War. Your dad was fighting over here.
Yeah, fighting is strong.
Okay. Well, he was here. Okay.
He was here. Yeah. He was in the Air Force. He was in communications in the Air Force. It's funny because I just went to Nha Trang and Cam Ranh Bay, which is where he was stationed during the war. But yeah, he was here, I think, for about a year. Okay. Yeah, and then went back to the States, and then went and lived in Puerto Rico. That's where he met my mom. Yeah. But he was here, and he actually came back in 2017. He came to visit me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a trip.
Does he have any stories, or he doesn't want to tell you?
He's got some stories, but he was in the Air Force. He wasn't like in the. So if you're talking about like I was going through the shit, and we're going through the mud, and somebody's guts got blown all over me, not stuff like that. But he's got some stories. Yeah. But again, he wasn't like on the front line. He did see some crazy stuff, but he was pretty lucky, I think. Right. He did have some health complications later on in his life as a result of exposure to dangerous chemicals, namely Agent Orange. But he's still kicking it.
Nice.
Still alive, still working. Still kicking ass. Still looks good. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Is that what brought you here, or did you just randomly come here, or you were like, how did you come to Saigon then?
So long story short, after my music career tanked, after the band broke up, I went back to school, and then I came here on doing a study abroad program, studying Vietnamese history. In Hue.
How did it come to be Vietnam? You chose that?
Yeah, I chose that. Yeah, because I study history, and I noticed that the fragmentation, the polarization that we say that happened in the United States, although a lot of it I think can be attributed to the internet and the way that we communicate on the internet, or the way that we don't communicate on the internet, but culturally, I think a lot of that started in the 1960s. You had the Civil Rights era, and you had the Vietnam War. Those are two things that, there were people who were for and who were against it. And ever since then, you could see that, you had people that were for Reagan, people that laughed when he got shot. You know what I'm saying? You had people that loved Bush, and there's people that would have choked him to death if they get his hands on him. It was like that polarized. And I think that started during the war. And so I thought about it that way, but then I realized that it's probably not fair to just view that war as something that happened to the United States. So I wanted to come to Vietnam to study Vietnamese history and see how did that affect the people and the country of Vietnam. So I came here for 2 months to study Vietnamese history in Hue, and then I fell in love with Vietnam.
So cool.
Didn't want to go back to the States at all.
Yeah.
I was like, man, what? This is 2015.
Yeah.
And then applied for a Fulbright scholarship like as soon as I got there.
Right.
It was like 2 weeks later, my application was in, and then I won the Fulbright scholarship, came back the following year, and then was coming here for a year, living in Mee Thong in the Mekong Delta. And then during that year, the election happened when Trump was elected, and I was like, America, I'm gonna give you a timeout. I think I'm good for a hot minute, you know?
Yeah.
At least until they impeach him. Like I was like, there's no way. Like it just seemed like there's no way, you know? But that shit happened. So yeah, so I ended up being here for 4 years, and then I just planted roots, you know?
Yeah. I was getting my visa to come here, right? It was 2016. I was on the bus. Me and my buddy hopped on the bus to go to the Vietnamese consulate in San Francisco, and this older dude gets on the bus. We start talking to him. I mean, I was like 36. This was older than us, much older. And he's like, "What are you guys doing?" I'm like, "Oh, we're going to the Vietnamese consulate to get our visas to go to Vietnam." He's like, "Yeah, it's a good move. Like America's toast."
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. It's like America's toast. Like that was before Trump was in office. Like, yeah, America's toast. I'll never forget that. You know, we got the visa and then basically never came back.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
That's so strong.
That's weird. That's like, that's just like, go for it, young blood, go.
Jeez.
Like, yep.
You know, but man, I listen to a lot of history podcasts and stuff, and and a lot of political experts say things like, you know, there could be a civil war in the U.S. I mean, the civil war in the U.S., it ain't gonna be like North versus South.
It's gonna be.
I don't even want to either. You know what I mean?
I hate it, man. I hate it.
Yeah.
So stupid, and it's just caused by this media just stirring the freaking pot, bro. Stirring the pot.
And the pot is pretty, you know, the history of America, the pot is pretty stirred as it is.
The pot is bubbling already, but
it's
turning up the heat on that motherfucker, man.
Well, there is a theory that a lot of the dialogues that happen, because a lot of it is you know, I think the way that we communicate online.
Yeah.
Like if me and my girl are having an argument, like, and we're texting, I'm like, yo, hold the phone. Yeah. Let's like call each other and let's talk to each other. Yes. And the way that we communicate on it's just, you know, it's just like, it's so, you know, and so there's that, but on top of that, there has been research that has shown that there are outside entities like other countries
meddling
that have bots.
Yeah.
That was there's supposedly
troll farms too.
Troll farms, bots. I mean, there's even way back as early as 2018. There's evidence that there were bots that were trying to create distrust in vaccines in the American and like regular ass vaccines. I'm not talking about right. It's not. I'm not talking about COVID vaccines.
Seeing stuff on the internet about that, and it was just like,
you know. So it's like a new way to fight a war. You know, in Buddhism we say only. I'm gonna mess this up again, but the only creature that can eat the lion are the worms, and they do so from inside. Right, that's the only thing that can defeat the lion is worms eating it from the inside. You know, and so as far as a war strategy, I mean, you're not going to go up against the American military. You know what I'm saying?
Pull up on the east or west coast.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's part of the reason America is so dominant. It's not just because we're number one. It's just like, you know, we're next to Canada and Mexico. We're so far away. If the United States were next to France or next to Germany or like after World War II, where it was like you can catch the heat like right away, or even somewhere near the Middle East. You know, there'd be a lot of things to think, but we're so far away from anyone that is militarily. I'm not there now.
Right.
You know, for militarily a threat, that, you know, that's a part of the advantage, you know.
Yeah.
So people get creative, you know.
Yeah. And China doesn't have any bases in freaking anyway. Well, it might have some, but I don't know. But yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, from the inside out. Yeah, it's rotted out from the inside. And it seems to be working, bro. It seems to be whoever's doing it. I don't know who's doing it, but yeah, it's just I hate it, man. I went off the internet for 2 years when I got here.
Wow.
I turned off my Facebook. I did, bro.
I'm laughing because I'm just imagining like what if you plug back in like in 2017? I wonder if anything happened while I was gone.
I did.
The fuck?
I moved here. Yeah, and then I was just like, I moved here in 2016. And
wow.
then like 2017 to 2000, I deleted Facebook, everything, bro. I was just like, this is fucking, I'm gonna just travel and do my thing, because it was just too much.
How'd you find out that Trump got elected?
Well, I mean, I lived in a city.
Yeah.
With people in it.
Yeah.
They had phones.
Yeah. Where were you living at that time?
I was living in Phu My Hung.
Oh, you're Phu My Hung. Okay.
Yeah.
For those who listen, Phu My Hung is like
fucking like moved to a cave in the jungle.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Living. Yeah, it's like the Beverly Hills of Saigon.
Right.
Like Gangnam style.
Yeah, it's a lot of Korean folks
that.
there, a lot of
I
expats.
love that restaurant. Yeah. So, yeah, but then I like needed a job and stuff, so I was like I had to join like Facebook groups to find jobs or whatnot. And I was like, oh, okay, let me and then so I didn't even start my my YouTube channel was like 1 year old.
Huh.
So I wasn't even doing anything for like a minute. And I just wanted I was like, you know what? Let me see what I could do on the internet. Because I always loved movies and film and stuff. And I was just like, you know what? I kind of got to plug back in.
Sure.
To the freaking Matrix.
See, you went from being unplugged from Facebook, like not paying attention. I was like, I don't need this. Yeah. This is corrupting my mind. I was like, or I need a podcast.
Yeah, no.
I need to corrupt the internet. That's what I need to do.
You know, it's better to like watch your own shit than fucking sit there and scroll. Because when I'm at home, sometimes I just throw all my videos on the play.
You watch your own videos?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I do a podcast for 2 hours and then I kind of I edit it. So I just put the beginning and the end. And I just upload it. And then I gotta like watch it. I mean, I was there when I did it, but then I watch it again. I'm like, oh shit.
I sound like a moron. that's what I do. Whenever I have to edit a podcast, I gotta edit out all the.
Don't. I leave it.
Really? Okay.
The other one I did with my friend, I was sitting out. I was like, I want to try to do it out on my balcony.
Yeah.
And these freaking winged ants kept buzzing me, bro. And I was like, hold on 1 second. We got my sandal. Pow. All right, we're back.
Yeah.
I just left it.
Okay. Okay.
But then I'll edit little clips.
Yeah.
And post it for SEO.
Got it.
My SEO buddies told me that.
Okay.
Like take 2 or 3 little clips, put some like catchy words on there.
Okay.
And upload it, and then you'll get some extra hits. And they told me to dictate it and post it on Google. That's how you're gonna get even more SEO action.
So do you read like the actual transcript of the whole podcast?
I don't. You know, I could just do it on my app right here and then somehow, but man, it's a lot of work. I just like to just upload it.
Okay. But I mean, could you? Like, we're talking about like very technical things.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to put in the liner notes when we talk about podcast shit for 8 minutes. You might want to fast forward if this is not your thing.
51 minutes. Exactly. 1 hour.
But could you use the YouTube, because YouTube generates subtitles? Isn't there something you can use to generate subtitles and just plug that in there?
You can. I've done it before, but if you put it into the what's it called, description,
okay,
you only get like 10,000 characters.
Oh, that's
so you
another.
can only get like 5 minutes of talking.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And then so I just write a description of what we talked about, put a little SEO things in there, like whatever. And then my buddy just told me last night. He was like, "Oh, you know what? You should pay $20 to boost your shit on Facebook. Why not?
Okay.
Like you work for that much, however much you make per hour at your job. Like
Right.
you do 4 hours of editing here. Why don't you just take $20 and boost your thing?" I was like, you know what? Maybe I should.
Yeah.
But maybe I should put it on Spotify too. There's a lot of stuff I should do.
Who you telling, man?
No,
I was kind of like,
yeah.
it just like once I edit it, it just feels like such an accomplishment getting it done.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I gotta really get in that growth, like more in that growth mindset of like just like how do I reach more people?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you do it on your own, man. So that's that's tough too, man.
I do a camera. I book my own guests, edit myself, upload myself. Yeah, everything is all on me.
You ever think about sometimes I think about like using Fiverr or something like that and getting people to edit it and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, editing is probably the easy part. Though. What I would like to do is have like a dedicated studio. Because when I first started it, I guess it was January 2021. So I thought it was over. I thought the corona was over. I was
so
wrong.
Cute, adorable.
I was like, it's over now. It's been a whole year. And I was like, people when they visit Vietnam, I wanna interview like travelers or like YouTubers that travel and be like, hey, so you just got back from whatever, come around or whatever. Like, tell me how it was, and we'd sit, and tell me what'd you do. Oh, with the waterfalls, but now like no one's traveling, so I got kind of not depressed, but like during the lockdown, no one wanted to like talk to me on my shows, and everyone's just like, no, I don't think it's a good time. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm gonna take a few months off, and I took like 3 months off, but then I just got like reinvigorated lately with the opening of the city and everything. So I'm like, you know what? Because I always want to do in person. I had no clue of doing it on Zoom, but now I know that Zoom is actually a tool. Because I'm gonna interview my buddy who's staying in Thailand. Interview my buddy who's staying in the Philippines. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Taiwan, wherever.
Yeah.
So now it's cool.
Yeah. I still haven't done that yet. I did a podcast for a while with my buddy Turner. Shout out to Turner. And we were doing it over Zoom during lockdown. Right. I really prefer in person because there's also the ability to like kind of go back. The banter, I think the banter is much better in person,
Yeah.
But the Zoom does give you the ability to have like a wider range of guests rather than the ones that you can just meet up with, So yeah, interesting. Wow, cool.
What's your podcast called?
We Out Here Expat Podcast, and also Asia Out Loud, the Outsiders Podcast.
That's yours too.
That's mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the one that I just kind of do on my. I've only done a few episodes.
Yeah.
Mostly interviewing the friends of mine that live out here in Saigon. I'm gonna pick it up again. I have an interview lined up with a local hardcore band called District 105. Shout out to Hui and them. So yeah. Man, I'm just so busy with comedy and stuff that, it's like man, I'm doing a course right now, so I'm like pulled in so many directions. I'm trying to, I'm chanting a lot to prioritize my stuff and figure out what is the thing that I should do next. Because my tendency is to try to do everything, and then I'll do that for a few months, and then I'll get sick, I'll get a cold or something like that. Where life is just like, hey, why don't you sit your ass down for a little while? You know what I mean? And then I'll do that, and then I'll get back into it. So I wanna develop a healthy habits and a healthy rhythm of work. And enjoying life as well. So trying to figure out the balance. But I'll get back to the podcast soon. Yeah.
So you're teaching comedy, right?
Teaching comedy, yeah.
So tell us about that. So I met him. He's like the host, right? Oh my God! I was like, damn, this dude's good at his freaking job. Like,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, I was like, damn, he comes in, like, a comic will end with something, and he just, like, picks it up, he adds on to that, and then he just somehow tells a whole joke about what the last comic, but it might not, he transitions perfectly into his bit, and then he's just like, boom, next comic on, and he gave me a boost. I was like, oh shit, okay, maybe I can do this. So
thanks, man. That means a lot. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I try to do. It's just, I mean, when I first started hosting, I would just do my bits in between people's sets. Like, so this person's over, and I think, well, what am I going to say next? You know, like, you know, when you're talking to somebody, and no matter what you say, they're just going to say whatever the fuck they was going to say anyway. You know what I mean? That's what kind of host I was, you know? So instead of doing that, which I'm going to run through 40 minutes of material within the course of a night, if I do that anyway, which is like, you know, a lot of material. Instead of doing that, I just try to stay open, stay focused on what the comedians are saying, what the comics are saying, and then work with that energy, work with their topics. Sometimes it will remind me of one of my bits. Sometimes it'll just remind me of something funny that I've been thinking for a while. Or sometimes I'll get inspired and just say something in the moment. But I try to work with the energy in the room. That's how I host. So thank you for saying that, because it sounds like it's working.
I picked up on that. I was like, damn, that's like, because there's no way you can have like that many bits that just matched it, and you're like, oh yeah, do. I'm like, okay, oh shit, okay, he's good.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So now you're teaching stand up. So this is your first class, or have you taught before?
The stand-up comedy class is called Class Clowns.
Class Clowns.
Yeah, and it kind of got passed. I kind of got brought into it. It was, at least in Vietnam, it was started by Eric Garcia, who's also from LA, or not that I'm from LA, but we both lived in LA, and Kelso Dowling. And they started it in Hanoi. They're two American expats that lived in Hanoi, and they did Class Clowns up there. They both moved down to Saigon and ran a Class Clowns class here. That was the second one. Then Eric bounced. By the way, check out my episode with Eric Garcia, Asia Out Loud, The Outsiders. I also interviewed Kelso Dowling kind of recently. So Eric bounced. Kelso asked if I would do it, and I was just like honored. Because I knew that I felt confident enough that I could share a lot with the students, but also, you know, they say you never really know something until you can teach it.
Yes.
So I knew it would be a real learning experience for me, and it was. We had our graduation, I guess, about a month and change ago, of my first graduating class.
Nice.
And Kelso just moved to the States a couple of weeks ago, so I'm looking forward to starting it up again, and I guess I'll make the announcement now with Vumin 2, who you don't know. Well, Vumin 2 is an amazing comic that lives here in Saigon. She's been my friend for almost 5 years, and I'm really excited to be doing the class with her. And so we're going to get it started up, I think, in March. That's going to be my second Class Clowns semester, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then 2's first. Yeah.
Nice. So it's like, you're taking people and teaching them like the basics, tips, tricks. Like you're not gonna be like giving them jokes. You're teaching them how to write their own and be themselves, right?
Yeah. Just trying to help them amplify their own voices, find their own voices. I mean, there's some comics that came out of Class Clowns that do some stuff I would never do.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just because they have a different perspective from me. Nobody should be doing, everybody should be doing their own material, you know what I mean? But, how do we take what they have and make it better? And there are some fundamental skills that you learn. There's some things that are, almost scientific, or some things that are very, there are patterns. There's things like something simple, like the rule of 3. If you're going to have like a list of things, for some reason, you do 3, you come up with a list of 3 things. And for some reason, like the same, like, how like music is in 4s, like most modern music is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and that rhythm just feels right.
Yeah.
Whereas the rule of 3 in comedy, that is something that we're and a lot of that's a basic thing. I'm not gonna give you the real tricks of the trade. That shit costs money, man. You know, but right, you gotta show up to class clowns, baby.
Trying to get the free money. What else is there that we need to do?
The first one's free.
Right? No, it's rule of 3. That's your free shout.
Yep.
Anything. So that's cool, man. That's cool. Maybe I'll join you.
Cool. I hope you do, man.
Yeah, because I mean, you could be funny, but it's technique. Like you go up on stage and freeze. You gotta know if you teach it like a technique, how to just like bring you back or something like that. There's obviously techniques to public speaking. Comedy is I think it's a form of public speaking.
Yeah, which is why it's so many people's biggest fear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they say all the time, they do these lists of what people's biggest fears are. Oh, burning to death? No. Dying alone? No. Drowning? No. Talking in front of people.
Last night, bro, my stomach started hurting.
Really?
You told me, you want to go on second? I'm like, oh, shit. Oh. Like, oh,
no,
yeah,
I know,
okay,
man.
sure.
No, I know what you mean, dude.
Yeah.
The first time I did comedy in Hanoi, but I've been doing it here for a couple of years, and then we got invited, Boomin 2, who I'm going to be teaching the class with, we got invited to Hanoi to do like 9 shows. And I had decided, thanks to my buddy Lars Cal-Yu in Canada, shout out to Lars, he encouraged me to not drink before I have a performance, especially a paid performance. So I stopped drinking before I went on stage.
Right.
And the first day, we were at this place called 7 Fridays. It was like a hostel that they turn once a week. They have these comedy shows there. Right. And I wasn't drinking. I had friends that lived in town there to see me. I couldn't talk to them. Place was packed. Yeah. I was beside myself with fear. And all the other comics were killing. Yeah. And I was dead last. I was like, for some reason, they decided to put me on last. Yeah. Right? So I'm just sitting there like, just the adrenaline. I wanted to throw up. Yeah. I was just so nervous, man, you know, so yeah, I know the feeling. But you know what the weird thing is, though, is that when I got on stage, I was fine. It's just beforehand. Yeah. That's just the anticipation was a killer for me, you know. But then once you're on stage, you have something to do with that energy. Same thing used to happen with music. Like before I go on stage, I'd be like, you know, every time, like after years of playing music, is everything gonna be all right? Okay, now everything sounds right, you know. But then when you get on stage, you have something to do with that intensity, with that adrenaline, and then it's, you know, and then hopefully it goes well. But usually, but also, if it's not going well, I don't feel not that much anymore. The anxiety at the time, it's just kind of like, all right, well, this sucks, you know what I mean? But it's not really like, I don't know. How do you feel?
I still feel that. Yeah. Like my first time, I think you introduced me, and everyone was like, "Yeah, first time."
Oh yeah, you got that boost.
And then I was like, I was juiced. I was like, oh yeah, and it was. Well, I think the first time went pretty good.
Yeah.
Second time you weren't there.
Oh yeah, AJ hosted.
I think I just said like, AJ was. I was trying to make a joke about AJ, and I was like, oh fuck, because some dude interrupted me. I was going to say something funny about AJ's jokes, and then some dude, and I just looked like an ass. I'm like, oh fuck, oops.
Yeah, people can really throw your rhythm off. People don't know that.
That's what you probably teach in the school, like how to deal with those people, right?
Yeah. I will say that what the level up that I've had lately, and it's pretty much since lockdown ended, because the first show I did coming out of lockdown was an open mic at Wham with Neil Mackay, $7 million. Shout out to Neil. And I noticed that day, and I have a recording of it too, that like I was like really relaxed. Yeah. And it was an improv show too. So I was just kind of like freestyling. And I think that what's happening now that's interesting is that, and I've heard comedians talk about this before, I have come to regard the audience as an entity.
Right.
Like this is, I mean, it's a lot of people, but it's just one entity talking to me through different voices. I have whack-a-mole in my head right now, but it's not really a whack-a-mole.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it's not. It's like way less violent than that.
Right.
But it's this entity wants to communicate. Yeah, there you go. Wants to communicate with you, and it does it not only in words, but in gestures, body language, breathing. And so now I'm starting to tune into that a little bit more, and I think that's helping a lot. Because. I mean, nobody's there to hurt you. People really want to have a good time. Yeah. I mean, we're also very lucky here in Vietnam. We don't really find a lot of hecklers. I can count on one hand how many real, and I'm not talking about people who just want to talk during your set. That is a form of heckling. Yeah. But I mean, people who've really wanted to do damage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I've had a few, but I know in other places that's if you compare Saigon to Philly, it's fucking forget about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I performed in Philly.
Comic in Philly, bro. Starting out, probably throw bottles at you.
Philly, home of the hecklers. We all know. Bing.
The home of the freaking ambulance.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Here it's cool, and it's where I started. So I've done 3 there, and it's a good environment. I get off stage and then everyone finishes and then we drink some beers and I get tips and everyone's like don't worry, bro, don't worry, you're worrying too much. This is practice right here. This is not freaking, you're not Kevin Hart at freaking Staples Center.
Right.
Just try your shit, just try out your bits. Don't worry, because I would say last time I apologized before I even said my joke. But that's not what I wrote. I was like, well, this is gonna be bad, so hold your freaking applause. And I was like, oh, why did I say that? It was like a freaking, when you're rolling down a hill and you're just gaining speed and you just. Yeah, that's how I felt. But I don't know if it was that bad because I mean, that's just probably how you feel when you're up there. Everyone is just waiting, and you're just your words are. Yeah, it's not easy, bro. You don't just get up there and just you can't block out. Everyone's looking at you, so that's one thing, and then everyone's listening to you, and they're and they want to laugh, and you're I'm trying to make you laugh. Just fucking laugh, all right? Just laugh. Just laugh. Come on.
Yeah.
Laugh, man.
I find myself getting this happened. I don't know if you were there, but there was maybe the 3rd open mic after lockdown, and the first 2 were lit. First 2, the energy was there, and for some reason the 3rd one there was a lot of people there, but the energy was real tight. People were real arm foldy. Yeah. And I just remember just feeling this is how you motherfuckers gonna be? Okay, no, it's fine. No, I could do this. I could literally, I'm be here all night. Yeah. Regardless. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that was the first time I felt like that. I would always feel I gotta entertain them, or I gotta, just this, come on, really wanting approval. Yeah. And that was the first time I just felt hey, I'm having a good time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Cool. I'm just I'm getting a beer. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. You gotta sit here and listen to my shit. Yeah. Bunch of but as a host also, it's my responsibility to kind of warm the audience up and try to get them in the mood. So that's a challenge sometimes, so I tend not to go really too much with my overt political stuff, or a lot of my racial stuff. I'll go a little bit if people are really you know what I mean? But I gotta try to, I gotta try to get people on my side in order to do a hosting of a show. Right. You know what I mean? I can't be the one that's gonna, you know what I'm saying? Maybe towards the end, so that's actually interesting. That's been an interesting learning curve for me also, because my philosophy used to be not everybody deserves to laugh. Some people deserve to get straight punched in the face. I don't mean physically, but I mean just with the content, And that's, you know, and I want people to have a good time, even if they don't agree with me.
Yeah, I've seen some really good guys. Like you know D.L. Hughley.
Yeah.
And I think when he first came out, he would just rip on people in the crowd, right?
Right.
He wouldn't even like have a bit. He would just be, damn, look at this guy right here, dude. I don't even know if he had a bit. He was just ripping on people. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Roasting people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would. But he's D.L. Hughley's a boss, bro.
Yeah.
Super good at stand up.
He's really smart too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. See, so I always watch comedy, but we would go. I remember, damn, I don't want to tell these jokes, man. I had Charlie Murphy, bro. We saw Charlie Murphy. Shit, oh my God, bro. He picked my friend out of the crowd. It was just going off.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Charlie Murphy.
He's a beast.
Woo,
Man.
roasting my boy.
I just love his voice too, man.
Yeah,
He's like, it's so funny because him and Eddie Murphy sounds so much more like kind of just like sort of refined or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But Charlie Murphy, he just sounds like so much like so many people I grew up with, man. It's just like, man, I love hearing his voice. Yeah.
He's like, all y'all guys with your arm around your girl is about to get real awkward in here after this joke. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Something like that. I can't tell the whole joke, but he was just going, oh my God. Awesome. You could just see people's faces go red and like, oh, look at it, the girl. Oh, it's like,
that's the best.
That was good, bro.
Yeah.
Charlie Murphy,
Yep.
Yep. That's the man. Let's see. So we got New York to Saigon. Actually, so you lived in small towns here. So you lived in Saigon. You lived in where?
Well, I lived in first I lived in Hue.
Yeah.
Small city, and then Hanoi for a couple of months, or for like a month,
right?
And Meitan for a year, which is a small city, like 225,000 people. Yeah. Small for compared to most of the cities I lived in, and then I've been in Saigon for like 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how was the small town experience living here?
It's a different pace of life, man. Excuse me. It's a different pace of life. You know, people wake up super early.
Yeah.
You know, like I used to have to start work at I think 7:15, teaching at the local university.
Yeah.
And so 7:15, you gotta be at work at 7:15. You waking up, getting your stuff together, just in time to get to work. But people will call me like 6:30 in the morning, like, hey, what you doing, man? You wanna get some coffee? Like, hell no, I don't wanna get no coffee. It's 6:30 in the morning, you know, but people wake up, people get up like at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know. And then they're in bed by 9. Yeah. You know, people say, don't leave the house after 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. There's only crazy people outside. I'm like, word? There's crazy people here in Utah? They just drive around to be people, like some people like drinking beers or like whatever, you know. But like for the most part, people get to bed really early, wake up really early. The thing to do is drink coffee with your friends and talk at a coffee shop. You see some people, like family of 3 or 4 people, just driving around the block on their motorbike. Like I was sitting there having dinner one day, and I seen this family of 4 on a motorbike. I was like, oh. And then I seen them again like 5 minutes later. And I seen them again, and I asked my friend, I was like, I keep seeing the same people. They're like, yeah, that's what they do at night. Just like, just drive around, just cruising, you know? It's like, oh, it's kind of nice, you know? So, it's a different pace of life, you know? I dug it, though.
Yeah. You recommend it for everybody? Or
not for everybody.
I mean, for like an expat. Like a single expat guy, you think it was a good experience, huh?
It was a good experience for me. Yeah.
You speak Vietnamese?
Not at that time.
Yeah.
Not at that time. I learned some.
But you learn faster when you're in the countryside.
Of course, because you have to.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, because most people don't speak. Even the English teachers, some of the English teachers don't speak English.
Yeah.
I'd be kicking it like, I was kicking it with my friend once, and then there's the other guy there, and we're talking for like a half hour. Every time I say something, he translates it for his friend. You know, oh, okay. You know, talking, drinking beers and stuff, eating seafood. I was like, what's your friend do anyway? He's like, oh, he's an English teacher. It's like, what? You know, so the standard is just, it's wild, man, you know? So, it was good for me. I don't know if I could go back to that because I did feel the draw of the city. I would come to Saigon on the weekends and kick it, and then go back there. But man, that's a once in a lifetime experience for me. So yeah, I think it was probably not for everybody. Because when the culture shock hit, it hit hard. I couldn't speak the language. People looking at me crazy. They'd never seen a black person in real life in their life. Sometimes you just want to eat a slice of pizza. You just want to eat something that you're familiar with. And then constantly, oh, you hungry? Put some chicken feet in front of you or something like that. And it's just like, you're just like, fucking no. No. If I eat a noodle again, I'm going to murder somebody, So that's a curve. And then you get through it, So I think I could do it again if I had to. But, yeah, I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, because like if you move to another country, right, there's always like a point where you're like, why am I here? What am I doing? What the fuck? I don't get go. So you need like some comfort food. Like in Saigon, I would always go to Jake's Barbecue.
Yeah,
he's from Minnesota.
I know Jake. He got the Juicy Lucy.
That's what when I was homesick, I worked in District 1 up. And on my way home, it was Jake's, right? So,
right on the end of the street.
Yeah, right.
I would say something. Jake got mad at me, man. I used to work for a City Pass guide, and I was doing a story, best hamburgers in Saigon.
Yeah.
I did a whole, you can look it up.
Yeah.
And I went to Jake's, and man, Jake was cool, and we kicked it, and I had the Juicy Lucy. I think I had it with blue cheese in it. Oh my god! And then I wrote it wasn't even paid content. It was like, I'm just going to say what I think the best burgers are. He was appreciative and stuff. But I wrote it was at the end of the Girly Bar strip. Because it used to be at the end of Pasteur Street.
It was.
It was, thank you.
It was in between two freaking Girly Bars. Yeah.
Which for people who listen and don't know, Girly Bars are like places where you pay women to like beautiful women to talk to you and I assume go home with you or something like that. But anyway.
Drink with you.
There you go.
If you're lonely.
And he got mad. He was like, how could you say this was at the end of the Girly Bar? I'm like, that's exactly where it is, man. But anyway, it was cool. I ended up making a retraction or whatever. But yeah, what's up, Jake? He's fucking us.
Where is he? Did he leave?
They moved. He moved somewhere closer.
District 3.
Yeah, near that other beer craft. Near the original beer craft, actually.
On
Minty Minkai, I think.
Yeah. And then I went there and it's not there.
Oh, it's not? I think he might have moved again.
Okay.
I think he might have moved twice.
D2 now.
Is he?
I don't know. I've been looking for him.
Have you just tried Googling Jake's?
I did.
Oh, really?
Indefinitely closed.
Oh, snap. Damn.
Yeah.
Another one bites the dust. A lot of people ain't make it, man.
But he,
whew.
Yeah.
Man.
Jake's Barbecue Saigon. Permanently closed.
Damn.
I was like about to bring all my friends there. We went to go to archery right mid-year. I was like, let's go to Jake's.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't go to Jake's anymore.
Man.
Because that was good. And he was freaking, okay, I would go there on a Monday and have all the football games on. So I was like, okay, I'll drink a couple root beers and watch these replays of the game and stuff.
Yeah. Another one bites the dust, like I said, man. Huh.
So that's kind of what you need sometimes,
comfort food.
Yeah, because you'll be in the traffic and you just worked a long day and you haven't talked to anyone that spoke English all day because I was teaching in public schools, so I was just like the only foreigner teacher there, and I was just like, you know what? Let me go to Jake's, get a burger. Nice burger.
Who has a good burger now? Breaking Barrel's got good burgers.
Breaking Barrel, I heard about that.
Yeah, man. They got good buffalo wings too. Shout out to James and Tyler from Breaking Barrel. They got good buffalo wings, man. They got like legit. He's from Buffalo. James is from Buffalo.
Okay.
So yeah, like they have like a lot of variations. I just go for the hot buffalo with blue cheese. Solid, man. Yeah. Yep.
Are buffalo wings Buffalo, New York?
They're from Buffalo, New York. Yeah.
Shit, I never knew that.
You thought it had something to do with the buffalo animal, huh?
Maybe.
Yeah, no, they're from Buffalo, New York. That's why they're called buffalo wings. Like buffaloes don't have wings. I beg your pardon. I'm not stupid. That's a mammal.
There's a place that used to be called Buffalo Wings, and that was the logo of Buffalo Wings.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I didn't really
BBWs? You mean Buffalo Wild Wings?
No.
Okay.
This is back in San Francisco.
Yeah.
But
okay.
They have a logo with a buffalo.
I don't know. I think I remember. I feel like I remember seeing that though. It's like
when Buffalo Wild Wings opened here, I was like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, but they didn't last long.
No, they didn't.
That price point was like,
no. They had a deal for a minute. Oh, because it was in D2 right there, and I was coaching basketball right on whatever street that was, and we just passed. I was like, oh shit, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
And it was like incredible. I think it was like free beer for something. I was
like a draft beer.
No, it was like free beer. Like it
Oh.
was like free beer.
Oh.
It was like a 2-hour window if you bought like 20 wings or something.
Really?
Something insane.
Like a.
I was like, they're losing money on this. Whatever.
Yeah, that's why they're not there anymore.
Opened, yeah.
Sure. You drove them out of business. You drank them under the table.
Lemon peppers.
Damn. Yeah.
Damn it.
Good stuff, yo.
Yep. So they're gone. All the good restaurants are gone. Yeah, COVID.
COVID locked a lot of people out, man.
It was hard. But it's over now. So
isn't that what you said, January 2021? Well, I'm glad that's over with. That was a close one.
Bruh, everything I talk about, it's like, comes true and shit.
Damien, the Omen,
Bruh.
right here on the podcast. Well, I'm glad that's over with. We're finished with all these global pandemics, and we're getting back to normal. It's a new normal, but I like it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Keep hearing things about the ice caps melting.
Oh,
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It's never going to end. They're just going to... we get a break... Now, I think now there's never going to be no more breaks for the humans. They're just going to...
You guys have been fucking up for way too long. We're just going to just keep... Nature's going to keep coming back.
Okay. Yeah, what are we going to do to the people of the world after COVID? Like
land sharks.
World War III again. Land sharks.
Yeah.
Sharknadoes. I don't think we're getting any more breaks.
Aliens. That's like becoming normal. Like, no, we actually see spaceships. And here's some video of it. Like, the world is so crazy right now.
And we don't
nobody cares.
Yeah, it's okay. But I got
another. But I think that's what they want to do. They want to introduce themselves little by little, and eventually they just want to blow everybody's minds.
Looking out the window.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a UFO?
I've never seen it. And I have looked like a lot. So yes, yeah, okay.
Here.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Over my house.
Oh yeah?
Here in District 3.
Oh word?
Yeah. People actually probably tell the story. But I've seen, yeah. But I've had like.
Was it good acid or what?
No, it was just a freaking Friday afternoon. And I went up on the roof and it was like this thing. It wasn't too fast to be a plane, too slow to be a. I've seen some crazy shit.
Yeah. Huh.
So that was
trip
that.
Out.
Yeah, that was a trip.
Huh.
But I believe in it because even my grandpa, he told me a long time ago, he was like, seen a spaceship coming out of the lake, and it was like way up. Why would he lie to me?
Yeah, no, yeah.
8 years old, 10
yeah,
years old.
I mean, why would an adult lie to a child?
Yeah.
They never do that.
Yeah, no, not to scare me.
Well, you know what they say. If you don't eat your vegetables, the aliens come down and put probes in your ass.
I think I hear them. Really cool.
Enjoy your parsnips.
I believed it. I totally. Damn. I kind of.
Why don't black people ever see UFOs? That's what I want to know. Like I've never. I don't think I've ever seen a UFO sighting by a black person. I want to know what it is. We want to see aliens. I want to see aliens.
There's no abduction, no like.
There's no black people get abducted by aliens.
Not fair.
What's that? Yeah, it's another white privilege. You get to get diddled in your booty by alien probes.
Would you like that?
Actually, I could pass. I would like to see.
I would share my privilege with you.
I'm good. I'm good.
Baby.
That would be the one that I wouldn't want.
Come with me. We're gonna drive through the forest.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're gonna sit in a open field.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're just gonna lie on our backs and
just wait. till aliens. I mean,
Yeah.
I've done that. I've definitely I'm not waited for aliens, but I've definitely like sat in the forest. And I've seen like shooting stars.
Yeah.
I've seen the Prasad meteor shower from on top of a pagoda in Hue. That was pretty incredible. But
Wow, that's cool.
yeah, I used to read all those books like Whitley Strieber, Communion and shit. That shit sounds terrifying. Like as much as I would love to see an alien,
Yeah.
if one poked his head out right there on my balcony, just like, but I would be fucking terrified. So no wonder they don't want to see us. You know what I'm saying?
Chill right there.
Nah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. You know that all that ET shit. Nah, I'm straight, dude.
Fire in the Sky scared me the
That's a good one too. That's a good one too.
That was too real.
Yeah.
Have you seen the one? I think it is Communion. Where what's his name?
Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. He's
Yeah, I read
dancing.
that book. Yeah.
You're a funny looking motherfucker.
Yep.
Like dancing.
He's Communion, Breakthrough, and I forgot the third one. I used to read all those Whitley Strieber books because the thing was he was a writer.
Okay.
He wrote books for Hollywood. He wrote one called Wolfen that became a movie in the 70s. He started having these memory lapses, and then he went to a hypnotist.
Ah, yeah.
And then according to the story, and apparently he took lie detector tests, and they said it was, at least he believed it, that they uncovered memories of him getting abducted from the time he was a child. And basically like having like, not relationships in the way that you and I would think of it, but he like knew these aliens. They were like telling things, you know. But he was a sci-fi writer before that, a horror writer before that. So, you know, I would never. I'm not neither for or against. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I believe it. It's gotta be, bro.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. Cause we're just a small little planet, and all these like other suns, and you know, there's like the theory that like if we're 2,000 years old, so that I don't know, whatever, humans are like 10,000 years old, right?
Modern humans. Yeah.
Right. So like people, I mean, the aliens that could progress enough to find us are either so far ahead of us that we're just like ants to them, or you know, it's just like there's like no reason to like invade they're just like watching us. Like if you have a freaking ant farm in your living room, why would you just smash it? Why would you like, oh, there's this alien, let's no, they have everything. They don't need us.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I
You
mean,
know, just come pick up some guy once in a while and diddle him and diddle.
well, Stephen Hawking said if there are intelligent life forms, we probably don't want to be sending out beacons to them like, hey, come over here, because what are they gonna? If they're anything like us, if they're anything like us,
Come on, they already know we're here.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't know. I watched Star Wars. So
but that was a long time ago.
Star
That was
Wars.
far away.
A galaxy far,
That was
far
a long
away.
time ago.
Exactly.
And they
So
still
imagine where they are
but
now.
they-
That was the Republic was already the outer rim. Come on, we're like
Who knew English existed way back then? It's
crazy.
incredible.
And
And everybody speaks it.
pretty much.
Everybody speaks it.
Pretty much.
Man.
So
Ah,
Chewy doesn't speak
real
English.
shit. No.
No.
Just
R2D2.
Yeah.
Beeped.
Yep. A lot of charisma though. R2D2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Well,
I'm gonna see 3PO, but all right. Anything else? Let's see. What we got here? Covered all that. So, what's next for the Jake?
just continuing to do comedy, continuing to run shows. Gonna start up the comedy class again, like I said. You know, continue the podcast.
Yeah.
Just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get better at it, man. I'm just spent years, you know, avoiding putting shows together and avoiding doing all this stuff because I just want to get better at the craft. And now I'm feeling like I'm kind of making some headway. So just, you know, branching out, you know, and trying to encourage other people, you know, to get up on stage, you know, and just get some different voices out there, man. I'm looking forward to doing this class with two. I'm hoping to maybe get some local students, you know, maybe some Vietnamese comedians that want to do comedy in English. because I think those voices need to be heard more. The thing I love about Vu Minh too is that she has a particular voice, being a local Vietnamese woman and dealing with expats and dealing with expat men. And she just has an amazing perspective, you know, and I want to hear more voices like that, you know, especially in the stand-up comedy medium.
Me too.
Yeah.
Hear.
Cheers, man. So I'm hoping to do that. Maybe a band. We'll see. Shout out to my buddy Afzal. His band just debuted in Tampa. He's got a biker bar in Tampa. Born Free Bar and Grill, Born Free Pub. Shout out to y'all too. So that kind of inspired me as well. So yeah, just more of the same, man. You know, yeah.
But better.
Yeah, man. You know, exactly. Level up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also, I'm taking a course, so yeah, finishing my course, maybe making a little bit more money doing what I already do. So yeah. Cheers. Nice. Yeah.
Cool, man. So we're gonna put all the links to his podcast out there. I know.
We Out Here Expat Podcast.
And
the Outsiders Podcast. Asia Out Loud presents the Outsiders Podcast.
Yeah. He writes. You writing stuff still?
Just comedy.
Okay.
It's mostly comedy, yeah.
Comedy school coming up.
Class Clowns. Shout out to Eric and Kelso and Vu Minh too.
Yeah. Shows coming up.
Doing this thing called Drunken Cinema later this month.
Ooh,
we have a gamified version of Purple Rain. We've turned Purple Rain. Well, somebody's turned Purple Rain into a drinking game.
Bathed in the waters of Lake
Minnetonka. Yeah, you got to come through, man.
Oh wow.
Obviously got the open mic every Monday. Looking at a couple of shows at Three Monkeys and at Brick and Barrel next month. So yeah, a bunch of stuff, you know. Yeah, just check my social media stuff, and it's got details on it.
Put all the links, check them out. J.K. Hobson, everybody, thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you. Cheers, man. Thanks for asking me. Cheers, y'all.